I'm on Goto, a series of islands along the western coast of Nagasaki Prefecture. And I'm here to tell you about Fukue Island, the biggest island. Today I'm on Fukuejima, which is the largest island in Goto. So let me take you on a journey of the beauty and unique hidden treasures that this island getaway has to offer. Let's play two truths and a lie. Number 1, the Goto Islands are made up of 5 islands. Number 2, wild boars inhabit the islands and they swim from island to island. And number 3, Goto has its own type of udon noodles called Goto udon. One of these 3 was a lie. Can you guess which one?
Kanpai.
Have you locked in your answer? If you guessed 2, you would be wrong. Wild boars do live on the islands and they can swim. The Goto Islands actually consist of about 150 islands, but there are 5 main ones, which is why it is called Goto, literally 5 island archipelago. Fukue Island is most easily accessed by a short flight from either Nagasaki or Fukuoka. There are also ferries available. The fastest one takes 90 minutes from Nagasaki and costs about 8,000 yen one way. Cheaper options are also available, but they take a bit longer to arrive. Although the islands are relatively small, due to its distance from any major city, I would recommend giving yourself at least 2 nights on Fukue Island to explore, and more if you plan on visiting the other islands as well. Once you do arrive, hiring a car is the best and easiest way to access everything on the island. Electric vehicles are also available, with many charging stations located throughout the island. The best beach on the island has got to be Takahama Beach, where we are now. And although it is absolutely beautiful, as you can see, the view is even better from up here on this observation deck. On a sunny day like this, the water looks absolutely unreal from up there. The crystal clear water creates a stunning array of colours from turquoise to deep blue that look like they've been photoshopped on. The view spot can be easily accessed by car up there, but it is also possible to hike up from the beach. All the information covered in this video and more is available via the link I've included in the description below. It's a completely free travel guide that I've put together because there's so much information that we only learned after talking to the locals here that I wish I'd known before I came, and I wanted to be able to share it with future visitors so that you can make the most out of your trip. This is not sponsored and the guide is completely free. I do, however, get a small kickback if you book a hotel through the link. If you do visit in the future and you notice that something in the guide is out of date, please let me know down below so I can update it accordingly. Next up is the famous Osezaki Cape and Lighthouse. A word of warning here, this is a hike. We headed there without realising that it's a 30-minute trek to get to the actual lighthouse itself. On the way, we stopped by an abandoned school, more on that later, where we found out that we need some hydration and appropriate clothing to ward off the ticks. If you're in the mood for a hike, please go for it, but for those that aren't, I'd actually recommend visiting the Goddess of Prayer statue. It's not a very well-known view spot, but holy f***, it's got some insane panoramic views. You can watch the sunset over the lighthouse and the East China Sea if you like, but I actually prefer the views in the opposite direction. For those that like shrines and torii gates, you're in for a treat. Near the Osezaki Cape, you'll find a secluded shrine on the side of the mountain, with a torii gate facing into the beautiful calm sea. It's so tranquil, but the road to get here is very narrow and curved, so please be extremely cautious. Take a quick break and relax your tired feet in a free foot bath. Arakawa, on the western coast, is the only place on the island with natural hot springs. There's a public onsen here too, but it's nice that there's a free spot people can pass through, stop for a chat, and leave feeling a little refreshed. Mount Onidake is a dormant volcano that is now covered in grass and celebrated as the symbol of Goto Islands. You can hike to the top of the mountain for some stunning views all around, or you can relax and have a picnic among the nature and the scenery. Back in town, take a stroll around the Goto Castle and go see where the samurai of Goto used to live. So this area is where the samurai class used to live during the Edo period. And although the road and the buildings inside are new, this stone wall here has been preserved and is pretty trademark of this area. These bottom ones are made from lava from Mount Onidake here on the island, while these top ones were thrown at enemies if they invaded. So this behind me is the remains of the Goto Castle, and now it is a high school. Apparently you can tour the grounds, but we couldn't seem to figure out when they were open. This would be a good time to mention that businesses spontaneously taking days off is a common occurrence here, so don't be surprised if it happens. Oh baby. In the 16th century, Portuguese Jesuit missionaries brought Christianity to Kyushu in western Japan. However, Christianity quickly became completely banned throughout Japan. Due to its geographical isolation, the Goto Islands quickly became a haven for Japanese Christians to hide. And that's why we can now see UNESCO churches and Catholic symbolism throughout the islands. This part of history, the expulsion of Christianity and relations with European countries, is a very complex topic and not something that I can do justice by briefly covering here. But for anyone interested in exploring the Catholic heritage of the islands, there are some beautiful churches that you can see. And for anyone that would like to know more about the history of Kakura Christians, I'll put some resources that I found useful in the description down below. And there is also a heartbreaking movie called Silence, directed by Martin Scorsese, that you can watch as well if you'd like, but you've been warned. First stop is an old traditional Japanese house turned cafe, Hanayami Kikuya. The owner is a local of the area and the menu is all local delicacies. Udon is served the local way and the rice from the curry was presented in the shapes of the islands right outside the window. Apart from lunch, they offer coffee and snacks, including some delicious baked sweet potato and dumplings, which you can enjoy in the outside terrace or even on this stunning swing facing the ocean. Once you finish lunch, I highly recommend exploring the park the restaurant is located in. Gyogasaki Park is one of those places in nature that leaves you speechless. On one side, you're nestled in a valley between rows of mountains, but then suddenly you look over and there's ocean and islands on the other side. The birds overhead, majestic as they are, have developed an appetite for soft serve ice cream, so make sure to protect your frozen treats. Yum. Driving down a lonely road in the middle of the mountains, you'll stumble upon a shop and restaurant on the roadside, located within an abandoned school. Like many parts of Japan, the Goto Islands are experiencing an aging population. With many younger generations moving to cities, the population of the islands has almost halved since the 1980s. For me, seeing abandoned schools like this around the island hits me hardest. Only recently abandoned, posters of smiling faces and art projects still fill the classrooms and line the walls of once bustling hallways that are now eerily quiet. The warmth and hospitality we received here only stood out more among the deserted rooms. We also learned a lot of information about the local area that we hadn't read in any tour guides. For example, there are wild boars here. For those interested, make sure to swing by. Can we just take a moment to talk about how good Champon is? I had it for the first time when I came here to Goto and oh my god, it like rivals ramen for me. Champon is a noodle dish from Nagasaki, inspired by Chinese cuisine. It's made by frying pork, seafood and vegetables in lard and topping them on ramen noodles in a chicken and pork broth. It doesn't look as neat as a ramen dish, but it's so tasty. It's also super affordable and an easy lunch option served all over town, so I highly recommend trying a Champon dish while you're here. My favourite bakeries are Ile, which has the only soy latte on the island, and Wonder Trunk Travel Bakery. Grab some fresh, tasty, Japanese-style pastries and coffee, and head to a nearby coast for a gorgeous brunch on the beach. Please be advised that their opening hours are prone to change, so check Google Maps before you go. Another great option is here at Collaret Cafe, which is part of the Collaret Hotel. And I mean, how can you beat these views? Many places offer fresh seafood, but if you're looking for sushi, there's a place called Sushi Zen with delicious fresh fish. If you're looking to try local Goto beef, I would recommend Chiharu for lunch. They serve local beef on locally produced rice. Mochizuki is probably the most well-known and recommended restaurant. We tried the loin and fillet steaks, and although they were pretty tasty, it felt like it was a bit overhyped. But then again, when we looked around, it seemed that most of the locals were ordering the burger patty, so maybe we were just off the mark with our selection. There are many more food options available, and I'll continue adding my recommendations to the guide linked below as I find them. Also, please note that many of these places do not have English menus. The best souvenir from Goto has got to be Goto udon. No. It's definitely camellia oil. What are you talking about? It's definitely chankoko. Everybody loves that stuff. This is chankoko. Chankoko is a type of traditional mochi named after the Chankoko Buddhist dance, unique to the Goto Islands. This is black sugar with soybean flour. Oh, it's green! They come in a variety of flavours, but I couldn't seem to figure out why they are named after this traditional dance. If anyone knows the answer, please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video has made you want to come and visit this charming island paradise at the end of Japan. And I hope you find the guide I've made useful for your trip. See you in the next video.